Hi. Hi again. So, well,
We have a new book.
Yeah, we have a new book. It's called Being Peace, and I ordered a new little copy, and I have a nice hardcover, and it's lovely. It got a little bit ruined in the rain when it got delivered to my house, but it's okay.
It's a little wet. I don't think it's ruined.
But Being Peace by Thich Nhat. I love this book. Smile.
So what's the format of it? Do you know? Is it like Osho's where it's stories, or is each chapter different?
It has different chapters. Chapter 1 is Suffering is Not Enough. So we're gonna try to maybe just read through chapter 1, and it goes to page 15. So let's just do it by chapters, maybe.
It's a good
All
way
right.
to go.
And here's my lovely, lovely singing bowl.
Let me do it.
When I was in India, the guy went like this. I don't think you can hear it, but it makes like
It does sound weird.
makes a weird noise.
Yeah, I heard it.
All right. Well, so I will get started. I think that even if you click on for a second, there's just so much beautiful text in here. It starts with a quote, and the quote is, "If we are peaceful, if we are happy, we can blossom like a flower, and everyone in our family, our entire society, will benefit from our peace." Chapter 1, Suffering is Not Enough. Life is filled with suffering, but it is also filled with many wonders, like the blue sky, the sunshine, the eyes of a baby. To suffer is not enough. We must also be in touch with the wonders of life. They are within us and all around us, everywhere, anytime. If we are not happy, if we are not peaceful, we cannot share peace and happiness with others, even those we love, those who live under the same roof. If we are peaceful, if we are happy, we can smile and blossom like a flower, and everyone in our family, our society, will benefit from our peace. Do we need to make a special effort to enjoy the beauty of the blue sky? Do we need to practice to be able to enjoy it? No, we just enjoy it. Each second, each minute of our lives can be like this. Wherever we are, anytime, we have the capacity to enjoy the sunshine, the presence of each other, even the sensation of our breathing. We don't need to go to China to enjoy the blue sky. We don't have to travel into the future to enjoy our breathing. We can be in touch with these things right now. It would be a pity if we were only aware of suffering. We are so busy, we hardly have time to look at the people we love, even in our own household, and to look at ourselves. Society is organized in a way that even when we have some leisure time, we don't know how to use it to get back in touch with ourselves. We have millions of ways to lose this precious time. We turn on the TV, or pick up the telephone, or start the car and go somewhere. We are not used to being with ourselves, and we act as if we don't like ourselves and are trying to escape from ourselves. Meditation is to be aware of what is going on in our bodies, in our feelings, in our minds, and in the world. Each day, 40,000 children die of hunger. The superpowers now have more than 50,000 nuclear warheads, enough to destroy our planet many times. Yet the sunrise is beautiful, and the rose that bloomed this morning along the wall is a miracle. Life is both dreadful and wonderful. To practice meditation is to be in touch with both aspects. Please do not think we must be solemn in order to meditate. In fact, to meditate well, we have to smile a lot. Recently, I was sitting with a group of children, and a boy named Tim was smiling beautifully. I said, "Tim, you have a very beautiful smile." And he said, "Thank you." I told him, "You don't have to thank me. I have to thank you. Because of your smile, you make life more beautiful. Instead of saying, thank you, you should say you're welcome." If a child smiles, and if an adult smiles, that is very important. If in our daily life we can smile, if we can be peaceful and happy, profit from it. This is the most basic kind of peace. Peace work. When I see Tim smiling, I am so happy. If he is aware that he is making other people happy, he can say, "You are welcome." From time to time, to remind ourselves to relax, to be peaceful, we may wish to set aside some time for a retreat, a day of mindfulness when we can walk slowly, smile, drink tea with a friend, enjoy being together as if we are the happiest people on earth. This is not a retreat, it is a treat. During walking meditation, during kitchen and garden work, during sitting meditation, all day long, we can practice smiling. At first, you may find it difficult to smile, and we have to think about why. Smiling means that we are ourselves, that we have sovereignty. Sovereignty, that is it's a hard word.
Being a sovereign is good.
That we have sovereignty over ourselves, that we are not drowned into forgetfulness. This kind of smile can be seen on the faces of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. I would like to offer one short poem you can recite from time to time while breathing and smiling. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is a wonderful moment. Breathing in, I calm my body. This line is like drinking a glass of ice water. You feel the cold, the freshness permeate your body. When I breathe in and I recite this line, I actually feel the breathing calming my body, calming my mind. Breathing out, I smile. You know the effect of a smile. A smile can relax hundreds of muscles in your face and relax your nervous system. A smile makes you the master of yourself. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but it doesn't seem like it should relax your face because you're making your face do something.
A smile relaxes hundreds of muscles in your face and relaxes your nervous system.
Okay.
A smile makes you the master of yourself. That is why the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are always smiling. When you smile, you realize the wonder of the smile. Dwelling in the present moment. While I sit here, I don't think of somewhere else, of the future or the past. I sit here and I know where I am. This is very important. We tend to be alive in the future, not now. We say, wait until I finish school and get my PhD degree, and then I will really be alive. When we have it, and it's not easy to get, we say to ourselves, I have to wait until I have a job in order to be really alive. And then after the job, a car. After the car, a house. We are not capable of being alive in the present moment. We tend to postpone being alive to the future, to the distant future. We don't know when. Now is not the moment to be alive. We may never be alive at all in our entire life. Therefore, the technique, if we have to speak of a technique, is to be present in the present moment, to be aware that we are here and now, and the only moment to be alive is the present moment. So back to his little poem, I know this is a wonderful moment. This is the only moment that is real, to be here and now, and enjoy the present moment is our most important task. Calming, smiling, present moment, wonderful moment. I hope you will try it. Even though life is hard, even though it is sometimes difficult to smile, we have to try. Just as when we wish each other good morning, it must be a real good morning. Recently, one friend asked me, how can I force myself a smile when I am filled with sorrow? It isn't natural. I told her she must be able to smile to her sorrow, because we are more than our sorrow. A human being is like a television set with millions of channels. If we turn the Buddha on, we are the Buddha. If we turn sorrow on, we are sorrow. If we turn a smile on, we really are the smile. We cannot just let one channel dominate us. We have the seed of everything in us, and we have to seize the situation in our hand to recover our own sovereignty. When we sit down peacefully, breathing and smiling with awareness, we are our true selves. We have sovereignty over ourselves. When we open ourselves up to a TV program, we let ourselves be invaded by the program. Sometimes it is a good program, but often it is just noisy because we want to have something other than ourselves enter us. We sit there and let a noisy television program invade us, assail us, destroy us. Even if our nervous system suffers, we don't have the courage to stand up and turn it off, because if we do that, we will have to return to ourself. Meditation is the opposite. It helps us return to our true self. Practicing meditation in this kind of society is very difficult. Everything seems to work in concert and try to make us take us away from our true self. We have thousands of things like videotapes and music which help us be away from ourselves. Practicing meditation is to be aware, to smile, to breathe. These are on the opposite side. We go back to ourselves in order to see what is going on, because to meditate means to be aware of what is going on. What is going on is very important. Suppose you are expecting a child. You need to breathe and smile for him or her. Please don't wait until your baby is born before beginning to take care of him or her. You can take care of your baby right now or even sooner. If you cannot smile, that is very serious. You might think, I am too sad. Smiling is just not the correct thing to do. Maybe crying or shouting would be correct, but your baby will get it. Anything you are, anything you do is for your baby. Even if you do not have a baby in your womb, the seed is already there. Even if you are not married, even if you are a man, you should be aware that a baby is already there. The seeds of future generations are already there. Please don't wait until the doctors tell you that you are going to have a baby to begin to take care of it. It is already there. Whatever you are, whatever you do, your baby will get it. Anything you eat, any worries that are on your mind will be for him or her. Can you tell me that you cannot smile? Think of the baby and smile for him, for her, for the future generations. Please don't tell me that a smile and your sorrow just don't go together. It's your sorrow, but what about your baby? It's not his sorrow. It's not her sorrow. And I think he's talking about people who aren't even like ever going to have a kid, like me. I'm not going to probably have a child, but I can still take care of the future children.
It's a solid concept that we should
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's right. It's much easier than Osho, right?
Yeah. Children understand very well that in each woman, in each man, there is a capacity of waking up, of understanding, and of loving. Many children have told me they cannot show me anyone who does not have this capacity. Some people allow it to develop and some do not. But everybody has it, this capacity of waking up, of being aware of what is going on in your feelings, in your body, in your perceptions, in the world, is called Buddha nature, the capacity of understanding and loving. Since the baby of that Buddha is in us, we should give him or her a chance. Smiling is very important. If we are not able to smile, then the world will not have peace. It is not going out for a demonstration against nuclear missiles that we can bring about peace. It is with our capacity of smiling, breathing, and being peace that we can make peace. That's the whole first chapter. I think I can read another one. Do you want to? No? Want to stop it? This is the next chapter, the 3 gems.
Yeah, let me stop the other one.
Okay.
Can you hand me my phone?
Yeah. All right. Well, I see.
Going, though, if you want,
I think one person is watching.
but
But
that's good.
it's like, I love this. I love this book. I don't know, just by reading that first chapter, I feel more peaceful. I feel like it's almost my job to smile. And I'm, whoa!
Sorry about that.
Oh my gosh.
That was me.
Okay. And I don't feel like smiling all the time, and sometimes you can't smile, you know? But I think the quicker that you can get back to being able to smile is good. Let's do a second chapter. Chapter 2.
Okay.
In Being Peace by, I can never remember how to say his name, Thich Nhat.
Sounds good.
Okay. The 3 gems. Many of us worry about the situation of the world. We don't know when the bombs will explode. We feel that we are on the edge of time. As individuals, we feel helpless, despairing. The situation is so dangerous. Injustice is so widespread. The danger is so close. In this kind of situation, if we panic, things will only become worse. We need to remain calm, to see clearly. Meditation is to be aware and to try to help. I like to use the example of a small boat crossing the Gulf of Siam. In Vietnam, there are many people, called boat people, who leave the country in small boats. Often, the boats are caught in rough seas or storms. The people may panic, and boats can sink. But if even one person aboard can remain calm, lucid, knowing what to do and what not to do, he or she can help the boat survive. His or her expression, face, voice, communicates clarity and calmness, and people have trust in that person. They will listen to what he or she says. One such person can save the lives of many. Our world is something like a small boat. Compared with the cosmos, our planet is a very small boat. We are about to panic because our situation is no better than the situation of the small boat in the sea. You know that we have more than 50,000 nuclear weapons. Humankind has become a very dangerous species. We need people who can sit still and be able to smile, who can walk peacefully. We need people like that in order to save us. Buddhism, or Mahayana Buddhism, says that you are that person, that each of you is that person. I had a student named Thich Van, who entered the monastery at the age of 6, and at the age of 17 began to study with me. Later, he was the first director of the School of Youth for Social Service, where he directed thousands of young people working during the war in Vietnam, rebuilding villages that were destroyed and resettling tens of thousands of refugees fleeing the war zones. He was killed in an accident. I was in Copenhagen when I heard of the death of my student. He was a very gentle monk, very brave. When he was a novice, 6 or 7 years old, he saw people come to the temple and bring cakes and bananas to offer to the Buddha. He wanted to know how the Buddha eats bananas, so he waited until everyone went home and the shrine was closed, and then he peered through the door, waiting for the Buddha to reach out his hand, take a banana, peel it, and eat it. He waited and waited, but nothing happened. The Buddha did not seem to eat bananas, unless he realized that someone was spying on him. Thich Van told me several other stories about when he was a young boy. When he discovered that the statue of the Buddha is not the Buddha, he began to ask where the Buddhas are, because it did not seem to him that Buddhas were living among humans. He concluded that Buddhas must not be very nice, because when people became Buddhas, they would leave us to go to a faraway country. I told him that Buddhas are us. They are made of flesh and bones, not copper or silver or gold. The Buddha statue is just a symbol of the Buddha, in the same way the American flag is a symbol of America. The American flag is not the American people. The root word Bud means to wake up, to know, to understand. And he or she who wakes up and understands is called a Buddha. It is as simple as that. The capacity to wake up, to understand, and to love is called Buddha nature. When Buddhists say, I take refuge in the Buddha, they are expressing trust in their own capacity of understanding, of becoming awake. The Chinese and the Vietnamese say, I go back and rely on the Buddha in me. Adding in me makes it very clear that you yourself are the Buddha. In Buddhism, there are 3 gems: Buddha, the awakened one, Dharma, the way of understanding and loving, and Sangha, the community that lives in harmony and awareness. The three are interrelated, and at times it is hard to distinguish one from another. In everyone, there is the capacity to wake up, to understand, and to love. So in ourselves we find Buddha, and we also find Dharma and Sangha. I will explain more about Dharma and Sangha, but first I want to say something about Buddha, the one who develops his or her understanding and loving to the highest degree. In Sanskrit, understanding is prajna, and love is karuna and maitri. Understanding and love are not two things, but just one. Suppose your son wakes up one morning and sees that it is already quite late. He decides to wake up his younger sister to give her enough time to eat breakfast before she goes to school. It happens that she is grouchy, and instead of saying, "Thank you for waking me up," she says, "Shut up and leave me alone," and kicks him. He will probably get angry, thinking, "I woke her up nicely, why did she kick me?" He may want to go to the kitchen and tell you about it, or even kick her back. But then he remembers that during the night, his sister coughed a lot, and he realizes that she must be sick. Maybe she has a cold, maybe that is why she behaved so meanly. He is not angry anymore. At that moment, there is Buddha in him. He understands. He is awake. When you understand, you cannot help but love. Oh my God, I love that sentence. When you understand, you cannot help but love. You cannot get angry. To develop understanding, you have to practice looking at all living beings with the eyes of compassion. When you understand, you love. And when you love, you naturally act in a way that can relieve the suffering of people. Someone who is awake, who knows, who understands, is called a Buddha. Buddha is in every one of us. We can become awake, understanding, and also loving. I often tell children that if their mother or father is very understanding and loving, working, taking care of the family, smiling, being lovely like a flower, they can say, "Mommy or Daddy, you are all Buddha today." 2,500 years ago, there was a person who practiced in a way that his understanding and love became perfected, and everyone in the world recognized this. His name was Siddhartha. When Siddhartha was very young, he began to think that life had a lot of suffering in it, that people do not love each other enough, do not understand each other enough. So he left his home to go to the forest to practice meditating, breathing, and smiling. He became a monk, and he tried to practice in order to develop his awakening, his understanding, and his love to the highest levels. He practiced sitting meditation and walking meditation for several years with 5 friends who were also monks. Although they were intelligent people, they made mistakes. For instance, each day they ate only one piece of fruit, 1 mango, or 1 guava, or 1 star fruit. Sometimes people exaggerate and say that Siddhartha ate only 1 sesame seed a day. But I went to the forest in India where he practiced, and I know that is silly because there are no sesame seeds there. I also saw the Naranja River, in which he bathed several times, and the Bodhi tree where he sat and became a Buddha. The Bodhi tree I saw is not the same tree. It is the great-great-great-grandchild of the first Bodhi tree. One day Siddhartha became so weak that he could not practice, and as he was an intelligent young man, he decided to go to the village and get something to eat, bananas or cake or anything. But as soon as he took 4 or 5 steps, he stumbled and fainted. He lost consciousness because he was too hungry. He would have died, but a milkmaid carrying milk to the village saw him and came over. She found that he was still alive, still breathing, but very weak, and so she took a bowl and poured some milk into his mouth. At first Siddhartha did not react, but then his lips moved and he began to drink the milk. He drank a whole bowl of milk, and he felt much better and slowly sat up. He looked beautiful because Siddhartha was a very, very handsome person. Nowadays people make statues of him, which are not very handsome. Sometimes they are even grouchy, without any smile on his face. But he was a very beautiful person, and the milkmaid thought that he must be the god of the mountain. She kneeled down and was about to worship, but he stretched out his arm to tell her not to, and he told her something. What do you think he must have said to her? He said, "Please give me another bowl of milk." He saw that the milk was doing wonderful things, and he knew that once our body is strong enough, we can succeed in meditation. The young lady was so happy she poured him another bowl of milk. After that, she inquired about him, and he said that he was a monk trying to meditate to develop his compassion and his understanding to the highest level so that he could help other people. She asked if there was anything she could do to help, and Siddhartha said, "Each day at noontime, can you give me a small bowl of rice? That would help me very much." So from that day on, she brought him some rice wrapped in banana leaves, and sometimes she also brought milk. The 5 other monks Siddhartha had been practicing with despised him and thought him worthless. "Let us go somewhere else to practice. He drinks milk and he eats rice. He has no perseverance." But Siddhartha did very well. Day in and day out he meditated, and he developed his insight, his understanding, and his compassion very, very quickly as he recovered his health. One day, after taking a swim in the Naranjara River, he had the impression that he only needed one more sitting to come to a total breakthrough, to become a fully enlightened person. When he was about to sit down, still practicing walking meditation, a buffalo boy came by. In India, 2,500 years ago, buffaloes were used to pull the plows, and a buffalo boy's job was to watch them, bathe them, and take care of them, and cut grass for them to eat. As the buffalo boy came by, he saw Siddhartha walking very peacefully, and he liked him immediately. Sometimes we see someone we like very much, even if we don't know why. The boy wanted to say something, but he was shy, so he came near Siddhartha 3 or 4 times before saying, "Gentleman, I like you very much." Siddhartha looked at him and said, "I like you also." Encouraged by the response, the boy told him, "I really want to give you something, but I have nothing I can give you." And Siddhartha said, "You do have something that I need. You have very beautiful green grass that you just cut. If you want to, please give me an armful of that grass." The boy was so happy to be able to give him something, and Siddhartha thanked him very much. After the buffalo boy left, Siddhartha spread the grass into a kind of cushion that he could sit on. As he sat down, he made a firm vow. "Until I get true enlightenment, I shall not stand up." With this strong determination, he meditated all night, and when the morning star appeared in the sky, he became a fully enlightened person, a Buddha with the highest capacity to understand and to love. Aww. The Buddha stayed at that spot for 2 weeks, smiling and enjoying his breathing. Every day the milkmaid brought him rice, and the buffalo boy also came to see him. He taught them about understanding, loving, and being awake. This is a scripture in the Pali Canon called Sutra of Tending Buffaloes, which lists 11 skills a buffalo boy must have, such as recognizing his own buffaloes, making smoke to keep mosquitoes away, taking care of wounds on the body of buffaloes, helping buffaloes cross rivers, and finding places with enough grass and water to eat. After listing 11 skills, the Buddha tells the monk that meditation is also like this, and he lists 11 parallel skills for monks, recognizing the 5 components of a human being, and so on. Most stories of the life of the Buddha overlook the 2 weeks he stayed near the Bodhi tree, meeting with the milkmaid and the buffalo boy, walking slowly, enjoying themselves. But I am sure it happened this way. Otherwise, how could the Buddha have delivered the Sutta of Tending Buffaloes? In fact, when the buffalo boy grew up, he must have become a disciple of the Buddha. And one day, as he sat in the front of the assembly, the Buddha delivered that sutta. After 2 weeks, the Buddha realized he had to get up from his seat under the Bodhi tree and share his understanding and compassion with other people. He told the milkmaid and the buffalo boy, "I am sorry, but I have to leave now. We are so happy together, but I must go and work with the adults." Sorry, that was me. That wasn't Buddha. He thought about who he could share his understanding and compassion with, and he thought of the 5 friends who had practiced with him. He walked an entire day in order to find them, and when he happened upon their camp, they had just finished their afternoon sitting meditation. They sat a lot. They were very thin by now, as you can imagine. One of them saw the Buddha coming and said to the others, Don't stand up even if he comes. Don't go to the gate to welcome him. Don't go and fetch water for him to wash his feet and his hands. He didn't persevere. He ate rice and he drank milk. But when he arrived, he was so attractive and so peaceful that they could not help themselves from offering him water to wash his feet and his hands and giving him a special seat. The Buddha told them, "Friends, I have found a way to develop understanding and loving. Please sit down and I'll teach you." They did not believe at first. They said, "Siddhartha, while we practiced together, you gave up. You drank milk. You ate rice. How is it possible? You have become fully enlightened person. Please tell us. We cannot believe it." The Buddha said, "Friends, have I ever told you a lie?" In fact, he had never lied to anyone, and these 5 friends remembered that. "I have never told you a lie. Now I am not telling you a lie. I have become a fully enlightened person, and I'll be your teacher. Sit down and listen to me." And the 5 of them sat down and listened to the Buddha. He gave his first Dharma talk for adults. If you want to read his words, they are available in a wonderful sutta explaining the basic doctrines of Buddhism: suffering, the causes of suffering, the removal of suffering, and the way to do it. Wow. I have read many accounts of the life of the Buddha, and I see him as a person like us. Sometimes artists draw a Buddha in a way that we cannot recognize him as a human being. In fact, he is a human being. I have seen so many Buddha statues, but not many really beautiful and simple ones. If any time you want to draw a picture of a Buddha, please sit down and breathe for 5 or 10 minutes, smiling, before you pick up the pen to draw a Buddha. Then draw a Buddha, beautiful but simple, with a smile. If you can draw some children sitting with him, Buddha is young, not too grim, not too solemn, with a very light smile on his face. We have to go in this direction because when we look at a Buddha, we have to like him just as the buffalo boy and the milkmaid did. Let me see how many more pages, because I should just do it chapter by chapter, but I was so excited. Okay. Should I go on or stop?
How much longer?
It's like a couple more pages. I'm on page 29. And the 3 Gems chapter, it's kind of long. It's like 10 more pages. Well,
finish it later.
Okay, I'm going to finish this one later. So, maybe tomorrow. Smiling and sitting and breathing. Could you imagine if that's what we're supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
Well, thank you all. I feel very blessed to be reading this, and if you guys listen and smile, then I think it's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
All right. Have a lovely day.